obviously him spelling that they are moving in the direction of winding down the war effort is a good thing. We should all collectively decide to say, Donald Trump, you did it. You beat the shit out of Iran. You are so incredible. Thank you, sir. I think that's what we should do. We should just all keep telling him how good he did and how he doesn't even need to fight Iran anymore. Let's get into it for a little bit. I don't know how much time I have. So,
other members of NATO, writing on Truth Social, the US cowards over their conduct towards the war with Iran. Let's have a look at that post in full. He says, without the USA, NATO is a paper tiger. They didn't want to join the fight to stop a nuclear-powered Iran. Now that fight is militarily won, he says, with very little danger for them. They complain about the high oil prices they're forced to pay, but don't want to help open the Strait of Hormuz. A simple military maneuver, he thinks, that is the single reason for the high oil price. So easy for them to do with so little risk. Cowards, and we will remember, he finishes, signing it, President Donald J. Trump. Earlier, I spoke to our US correspondent, David Blevins.
His tweet this morning, I think, is much more about pressuring allies to join the United States in its action against Iran than anything to do with NATO capabilities. In fact, some might suggest that he is now preparing for an exit to pass the problem of the Strait of Hormuz to those allies. If we analyse it very briefly, strategically, not that the president necessarily thinks strategically before he posts on Truth Social, I think it is one about leaning on those allies to protect shipping in the Strait as he tries to find a way out of this war now. It is two, reinforcing his long-running theme that America carries too much of the burden within NATO. And then three, there is a domestic aspect to it as well. He wants voters here in the United States to hear the message that America is doing too much. Why should we be defending them?
Can you guys at least hear when the lower the bit rate, you himbo? I did. Chatter. I don't know if you know this. I'm in Cuba. Okay? Are you aware of that? Like, dude, I'm basically running an operation that's put together with like strings. Okay? As long as you can still hear the audio, even if the video cuts out, like, you know, it's going to be shitty. Okay? It cuts in and out, dude. What do you want me to do? What do you want me to do? I'm literally in a country that hasn't had oil shipping. I'm in a country right now, an island nation that has not had a single barrel of oil come on its shores for the past 3 months. And you guys are like, meh. Yeah, everything falls apart at times, okay? You live in the United States of America in the lap of luxury and your internet cuts out. Like, what are you talking about? Not even a comparison.
As you say, in the last few minutes, he's been presenting the Commander-in-Chief Trophy to the Navy Academy, who have won the annual round-robin competition between the three colleges, Army, Navy and Air Force. And the President did speak very briefly about Iran. Let's just listen to that.
I want to begin by just saying we're doing extremely well in Iran. The difference between them and us is they had a Navy 2 weeks ago. They have no Navy anymore. It's all at the bottom of the sea. 58 ships knocked down in 2 days. And we have the greatest Navy anywhere in the world. It's not even close. So we are doing really well. We're not going to let them have nuclear weapons. Because if they had them, they'd use them, and we're not going to let that happen. Should have been done a long time ago by other presidents.
David, if we hear that and we think about that post that I just read out on Truth Social saying that the war is militarily over, do you think, and are others saying that he might...
Guys, war efforts are going unbelievable, fantastic. It's unlike anything you've ever seen before. Things are going spectacular. Trump on opening the Strait of Hormuz, you need a lot of help. Trump on Iran, I think we've won. Trump on Karg, I may have a plan or I may not. Trump on opening the Strait of Hormuz, at a certain point, it'll open itself. What are we doing, bro? I mean, he is literally, dude, buy war bonds now? That's so funny because it would be the equivalent of like, buy war bonds or don't, it doesn't matter. Like that's the communication coming out of the admin right now. You know, maybe we're going to go to war, maybe not. Did Pearl Harbor even happen? I don't know. Many people are saying we shouldn't have cut the Japanese off the oil, but we did. And then they hit us bad. They hit us real bad. But some people are saying maybe they could have hit us worse. Who knows? He's weaving in war. Respect the art, man. I think he should stop weaving. He should stop bobbing. He should stop weaving. He should stop doing the things that he's doing, honestly. CIA attack. Yeah. Every time my internet cuts out, imagine the CIA attacked it. Go directly to the bank right now and ask them for your money. They won't give it to you, but the people working there could use the laugh. Breaking, S&P 500 officially posts its lowest close of 2026, erasing $3.2 trillion in market cap. $3.2 trillion in market cap since the Iran war began. Did you guys hear that? Was that good? I'm trying to substitute that for the FA. Because I'm out here and I don't have a soundboard. Soundboard didn't make it. I'm just using that silly. Trump's latest post is insane. As opposed to all of his other posts. I mean, look at this one. Yeah, this is the one. We are no longer obliterating Iran's stockpile. It's degrading it. It's no longer ensuring Iran does not obtain a nuclear weapon. It's not letting them get close. He doesn't even mention the Axis and continues hinting that he doesn't want to deal with Hormuz. Yeah, I do. Why, you need the pins? Okay, here. Yeah, it's all in there. Okay, look at this one. Shows us the Cuban matrix. Okay, calm down. Look at this. You have robbed the Cuban people of a soundboard by not bringing it. I know, it's very counter-revolutionary of me, but Israeli media breaking. The Islamic resistance Hezbollah brigades in Iraq will resume strikes on the U.S. enemy embassy in Baghdad starting today. The truce has ended. The enemy breached it. Israeli media says Reservist Major General Nimrod Schaefer, former head of planning division and former director general of the Israel Aerospace Industries. We have entered a war of attrition with Iran as a result of a mistaken perception that the regime in Iran would collapse if it was hit hard. Oh my God. Every other day, it is, and every single day they're like, we didn't think it was gonna be like this. Okay, hold on. It's effing again. I know. It's effing. And it's back. It's no longer effing. Wait. It's live. Ingest is live. Oh, because... okay. Okay. We thought the Soviet Volk would rebel against the Judeo-Bolshevik overlords. We were wrong. Yeah. No, it reminds me of the initial Nazi assessment that there would be 200 Russian tanks. And by the first month of the campaign, they had encountered 400 Russian tanks thus far. It's like that. They're like, oh, we thought they had toy airplanes that they could just drop a couple missiles, not a big deal. And then they're like, oh shit, they actually have unlimited missiles. Oh my God, the missile strikes are never ending. Oh my God, this war of attrition is actually turning in Iran's favor and totally against our best interests because now we are Iran. Bro, every time I try to read Trump, it Fs. What the hell? Every time. Okay, it's back. Every time I try to read Trump, it Fs. Okay. CIA. Not today, CIA. Middle East with the terrorist regime in Iran, completely degrading Iranian missile capability, launchers, and everything else pertaining to them. Destroying Iran's defense industrial base, eliminating their Navy and Air Force, including anti-aircraft weaponry. You didn't do that, though, because yesterday they blew up a F-35. Never allowing Iran to even get close to nuclear capability, okay? And always being in a position where the USA can quickly and powerfully react to a situation should it take place. Wrong on all of those accounts. Protecting at highest level our Middle Eastern allies, including Israel, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, the United Arab Emirates, Bahrain, Kuwait, and others. Not a good job with that at all. The Hormuz Strait will have to be guarded and policed as necessary by other nations who use it. The United States does not. Oh my God. Oh my God. This is him basically walking back every single ambitious military objective that they had. They're getting dog walked. Okay? It's so funny that they're getting absolutely shellacked. It's belt to ass. It's belt to ass for American empire. And the fact that the most narcissistic man on the planet, okay, effing again, hold on. The fact that the most narcissistic man on the planet could admit to this. I mean, this is it. This is a surrender, okay? Obviously, who knows what he might do tomorrow? Who knows what he might, come up with tomorrow? It's just the way that Donald Trump operates is, yesterday's tactical retreat turns into tomorrow's escalation. But right now, at this moment, you cannot read this as anything but surrender, okay? They came in with a lot of ambition. They came in with a lot of bombs. And they thought they could decapitate the leadership and immediately get back to the negotiations table. Israel obviously had different ambitions. And yes, I'm in Havana. Oh, no. Oh, come on. Fix it. Okay, it's back. Yes, it's effing. I know. Oh, God, I'm so tired. What am I doing? The Pentagon's after me. CIA's after me, boys. Let's just say he won and let us move on from it and secure an everlasting peace. I agree. Lower stream quality a bit. I already have. You're at 8 megabits? No, I'm not. I don't know why you're saying that. On my end, I'm not. On my end, my output is at 4,000 kbps. Should I change the encoder preset? Because right now it's a slow, good quality. Should I lower that too? Fastest, lowest quality. Wait, what? No, I mean, sure. You can't change the output mode. That's the only thing you change is the bit rate. Lowering overall quality be worth it for better connection. You look 4K. Don't get Havana syndrome. Okay. How's the weather there? It's incredible. So anyway, where were we? Oh, we were talking about the military objectives. Like, this is as close to a total defeat and surrender as you're going to get with Donald Trump, because he's never going to be like, we got defeated, right? He's an asshole. That's not how things work. And that's not how anything works. And that's not how Trump works. So obviously him spelling that they are moving in the direction of winding down the war effort is a good thing. We should all collectively decide to say, Donald Trump, you did it. You beat the shit out of Iran. You are so incredible. Thank you, sir. I think that's what we should do. We should just all keep telling him how good he did and how he doesn't even need to fight Iran anymore. Now, of course, the problem is it's kind of not up to Trump right now. It kind of is up to a much more agitated, hardliner-backed Iran. They get to set the standards and the terms. They get to dictate when it ends. You know what I mean? So, all right, effing again a little bit. Come on now. Fix it. Okay, it's back. So Iran gets to dictate when this ends. So we don't know. We don't know if Donald Trump, if Iran will let Donald Trump take the off-ramp. But here we are. United States does not. If asked, we will help these countries in their Hormuz efforts, but it shouldn't be indicated. Importantly, it will be an easy military operation for them. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Donald J. Trump. So yeah, he is totally tactically retreated, at least in this iteration. He is totally tactically retreated from the maximalist goals that they had, knowing full well that they are impossible to achieve. And here we are.
Now be seriously looking for an off-ramp with all this.
Well, that is definitely one of the possibilities, that he thinks it's time for America's allies to take over the challenges. Certainly, he continues to play them down from a U.S. perspective, saying his enemies have been obliterated, a word we're hearing a lot, that they are weeks ahead of schedule. Interestingly, also yesterday, when he was asked if the United States was preparing to put boots on the ground, he said no, terrible. Then qualified it by adding, if I was, I wouldn't tell you. Now, that's reminiscent of a comment he made on this very day 3 weeks ago when he was asked, is the United States about to start bombing Iran? And he said no, but if we were, I wouldn't tell you. In terms of that post online, though, this morning, the reality is, yes, America accounts for 60 to 70% of NATO's defence spending, but NATO is not powerless because it includes the militaries of the UK, France, Germany and Turkey, among many others.
CNN has learned that the U.S. military is sending thousands of additional Marines and sailors to the Middle East. This comes just a day after President Trump said this about deploying more troops to the region.
No, I'm not putting troops anywhere. If I were, I certainly wouldn't tell you. but I'm not putting troops.
It also comes just hours after President Trump shared on Truth Social that the fight to stop nuclear-powered Iran is, quote, militarily won. CNN national security reporter Haley Britsky joins us now. Haley, what's the latest? What are you learning?
Yeah, so
This is why I said today he says, we've accomplished all of our goals, it's over, we won. And then tomorrow he's like, we're deploying 10,000 more troops, you know? And here is Araghchi, Sayed Abbas Araghchi, foreign minister of Iran, also pointing this out. Americans haven't forgotten how, even as hundreds of U.S. soldiers were dying in Vietnam, and the outcome was already clear. General William Westmoreland was flown home to reassure everyone that the war was going well and that the U.S. was, in air quotes, winning. The media haven't forgotten either. Those briefings full of fantasy from the front lines became infamous as the 5 o'clock follies. Fast forward to today, same script, different stage. Hegseth steps up, and the message is still detached from reality. U.S. government says one thing, reality says another. Right as U.S. authorities claim Iran's air defenses are gone, an F-35 gets hit. As they declare Iran's Navy finished, USS Gerald Ford turns back, and USS Abraham Lincoln drifts farther away. Different decade, same, we're winning. These guys are just goading them at this point. I mean, it's kind of nasty. You don't have to flex on us. Araghchi, you don't have to flex on us, man. Dial it back, brother. We get it, okay? Chill. Nobody likes a sore winner, okay? Nobody likes a sore winner, man. Chill. They're farting on us, dude. This is also part of the reason why I said it's not up to the United States necessarily to end this conflict. It's more so up to Iran. Because it does, these guys, when they initially said, we will dictate the terms and conditions of how this war ends, I initially was like, okay, I feel like that's maybe not the case. I thought perhaps foolishly that, it would be like, previous Iran, way more willing to negotiate with America. But I think they're not going to stop until they have sufficiently caused deterrence, sufficiently caused military deterrence, sufficiently caused economic collapse. Put the fear of God into the capital-owning masters of Donald Trump. Because at the end of the day, Donald Trump is led by certain forces, mostly the forces of capital. So that's where we're at.
First, we're learning that the 11th Marine Expeditionary Unit off the West Coast is heading towards the region now. This is the second MEU going towards the Middle East. The 31st has already left from the Pacific going towards the region. We don't quite know when it'll get there, of course, what exactly it will do. We're still asking if it will stay in the region, if the military will have 2 of these Marine Rapid Response Forces there. Certainly, it raises questions about boots on the ground options, as that's the first thing people think of when they think of these MEUs. But these units are really kind of the Swiss Army knives of the Marines and of the military. They can provide aviation logistics support. So they provide commanders a lot of options. A lot we still don't know about this deployment, but it certainly provides a lot of options to Admiral Bradley Cooper of CENTCOM.
It also raises questions about how long this engagement might go. We heard President Trump say it would be a matter of weeks. Now there are questions about whether this is going to be prolonged.
That's right. I mean, we still don't know how long this is going to go. We hear Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth saying it could be 4 weeks, it could be 5 weeks, it could be 3 weeks. Obviously, we're nearing the 4th week point at this point. But they keep saying, we keep hearing from these senior officials that, as we just heard from the president, this is essentially won, that the conflict is, there's fewer targets to hit. But still, the Strait of Hormuz is effectively closed. We just saw yesterday an F-35, U.S. F-35 had to make an emergency landing after sources say it was believed to be hit by Iranian fire. So there's certainly a lot still happening.
That's such a funny way to describe the event, by the way. How's the island? Michael from Taiwan. It's beautiful. It's one of the most beautiful places I've ever been to in my entire life. Straight up. Undoubtedly might be one of the most beautiful places on the planet. Bar none. Anyway, as far as this incident, as far as this F-35 thing goes, this is a major blow. This is a major blow to $2 trillion R&D equipment, a piece of technology that's supposed to showcase American air superiority, a piece of technology that's supposed to showcase American dominance, and yet it was taken out by some kind of surface-to-air missile system that the Iranians very clearly, not even from like a fixed position, Iranians very clearly rolled out. And it is a major, major blow to American air superiority. It means that the last gen fighter jets that they have are totally beatable. Bro, they are sending the USS Boxer and USS Tripoli. We are invading 100%. They don't break those guys out unless it's happening. Yeah, this will also be devastating for America, for the record. Any sort of additional military incursion of this sort will unironically be devastating for the United States of America, because I don't think these guys understand. Iran also has a significant upper hand in terms of fighting against boots on the ground military warfare. Like, this is the very same topographical advantage that they have, being a fucking mountainous fortress, is going to be doubly relevant when considering the logistics of invading a country that size, invading a country with that many people, especially trained fighters. Iran is a standing military. Iran has the Basij militias. Iran has the IRGC. It's not Afghanistan 2.0. It's so much worse. People think it's going to be Afghanistan 2.0. The Taliban did not have any, like, they had manpads or stingrays, right? But they didn't have the same tools that the Iranian government has. The Taliban would not be able to successfully hold the Strait of Hormuz. You understand? I wouldn't even say, I mean, it's kind of like Vietnam, I guess. It's closer to Vietnam than it is to Afghanistan. But even then, it's not, I mean, I guess Vietnam had a lot of like foreign aid as well. You know, the USSR was there helping out quite a bit. But Vietnam was nowhere near as industrialized as Iran. And Vietnam has jungles. Iran has mountains. Vietnam got aid from Sweden. Rare social democracy win. That's goated. It's just not, it's unlike anything that you can really compare it to. And it will be a devastating quagmire. It wouldn't be a quagmire. I think saying that invading Iran with boots on the ground would be a catastrophe. And not for the Iranian military objectives. It would be a catastrophe for America. I mean, of course, it would be catastrophic for a regular Iranian society, but I think it would be a devastating defeat, perhaps even faster than Vietnam. It would completely expose that the American empire is done. I obviously don't want that to happen, mostly because I don't want fucking unnecessary deaths and destruction. But yeah, it's a quagmire now. It would be a catastrophe tomorrow.
On the ground here, and these units moving in will just provide more options for what the president decides to do next.
Haley Britsky, thanks so much for that reporting.
CNN's Kevin Liptak joins me from the White House. And Kevin, let me go to you first. And more Marines, like we were saying, making their way to the Middle East as administration, of course, pushes, we've been talking about, for extra funding, some $200 billion. Bring us up to date the very latest. What do we know, first of all, about this deployment?
Right, and this will be the second, what they call a Marine Expeditionary Unit that's now headed towards the Middle East. There is another one that is deploying from Asia and heading in that direction. So it will bring the total number of Marines tasked to these units to about 4,500. It will add to the about 50,000 American troops that are already in the Middle East. Now, what exactly...
HasanAbi vindicated. The supposed mobile anti-stealth surveillance radar RRGC utilized is on wheels. I don't know if this is the one. China arms Iran with 700-kilometer anti-stealth radar capable of tracking F-35 and B-2 YLC 8B transfer redraws Middle East air power balance. I mean, I don't know if this is like assured or not. I don't know if this is a given or not. Do we know? This is just suspicion, especially because this is not the type of mobile... this is not exactly the type of gear that Iran likes to use. I mean, they have stuff like this, but I feel like this would be, I mean, this is a real bitch to lug around. You know what I mean? Like when you look at Iranian defenses, when you look at Iranian anti-air systems, like they're literally put on the back of fucking K trucks. Okay? Like they have to be unimaginably mobile. This thing would get fucking ethered. This is a sitting duck. Like there are There are American drones that are loitering. You have I don't think that this is what they utilize. I think this is something that they would suddenly everyone's a war analyst expert. I mean, yeah, I'm not. I'm just thinking about like what Iran utilizes usually. Indigenous weapons systems, their TELs, like the way that they're designed are I mean, it's crazy. Is it effing? All right, we're back. Iran can wield these out because they're nixing U.S. loiter drones. I mean, did they lose that many? That'd be crazy.
These Marines will be tasked with, it's not clear. And it comes, of course, as the president does seem to be weighing whether to order a ground operation inside Iran, whether it's to secure Karg Island, that very critical area that the administration thinks would put pressure on the Iranian regime, or to go into Iran to try and retrieve some of the highly enriched nuclear material that is buried far underground. That is certainly something.
Dude, that operation is so idiotic because it's not a real goal. It's not a real goal. The idea, like, it's just a talking point. It's just a talking point. It's not a real military objective to like to diminish Iran's like nuclear enrichment capabilities or take out their enriched uranium. Okay? That's not a real goal. It's just a talking point. So for them to throw potentially thousands of Marines in the fucking kill chamber, in the kill box, specifically to be like, no, it's actually not regime change. We just want the nuclear arsenal to be diminished or whatever when they don't have one. And they have in the past effectively, through diplomacy, stopped Iran's nuclear ambitions, no matter no matter how hard of a limit that existed on those nuclear ambitions anyway. The fact that they would like send troops potentially to do like a Isfahan extraction mission, because the complex nature of a mission. I love the CIA. CIA has done nothing wrong, and Israel has done nothing wrong ever. And Israel's the greatest nation. Oh my God, it's back. It's back. Israel's the greatest nation on earth is what I said, and immediately is back. We're back. Okay, that's a cool trick for you guys. It literally worked. Anyway, where was I? Trying to degrade Iran's nuclear program directly with your military is an immensely complex mission. Okay? One, I don't think they have full schematics of what the things look like down there. Okay? That's number one. Number two, you have to bring in specialists alongside your special forces that know how to deal with and how to effectively neutralize radioactive material without blowing it up and causing a massive radioactive incident, right? You can't just strike it from above. You have to go in. It's an admission that the bunker busters didn't work, by the way. It's an admission that the bunker busters didn't work. So you have to go in their minds. Like you're gonna try to maintain air superiority. Okay, that's not a given. For an extended period of time, you're gonna paradrop, whatever, parachute special forces in there, or go through. And then, I love Israel. M Israel high. M Israel high. M Israel high, please. I love Israel. Boom. Fixed. This material is not going to be something that you can easily pack. Either you have to... I love Israel. Come on, man. Oh, God. What is happening? Oh, so annoying. Okay. All right. We're back. No, we're not fucking back. I was wrong. I lied. This was a lie. Okay.
Thing that those Marines could be doing, but it is not necessarily what they're going to be doing. They also have tasks like aviation support, logistics support, all of these other areas that they could potentially be ordered up to do once they arrive. But it all seems to be demonstrating that the president is reinforcing the American troop posture in the region.
Why is it getting so much worse? Turn your bit rate down, Big Haas. I already have. I already have. It's not that. When it cuts, you don't understand. When it cuts so low that it doesn't even matter. Going down to like 3. I'll tune it down to 3K. I don't even know what that does on your end, but when the internet cuts out, I can't put this bitch on 420p without ending the stream. All right. No, I mean, okay. I changed the quality, I think. I think I lowered the quality. Hopefully it doesn't cut out as much, but we'll see. If it does, I'll just boost the quality back up. 3000K is a lot for 480p. If your computer's fast, don't switch from slow HQ to fast, super fast. It's all just big ping spikes, though. Bitrate won't fix anything. When it's stable, it's stable. So no. It's when it goes out regardless. Okay, so it's not that. Yeah, that chatter is actually right. Lowering the quality unironically doesn't do much, because when the bit rate goes out, it recovered fast, but that could just be because it just recovered fast this time. Okay, maybe it's other people on the network. No. Let's see. If you were Irish speed, this wouldn't be happening, brother. We're in Cuba.
As this war grinds on, we're about to enter the 4th week of this conflict. The president and other administration officials have said that it could last between 4 and 6 weeks. So we are, in about a week's time, nearing the window when, according to the administration's own estimates, it could be winding.
Change FPS to 30. That was my biggest help. Should I do that? Okay, I'm going to do one more BRB chat, one more BRB screen, and flip it to 30 seconds.
Down, but certainly this decision to send these troops into the region suggests that it may not be ending anytime quickly.
The president said yesterday he's not going to have boots on the ground.
Wait, it's muted? Mic is muted. Yeah, I know the mic is muted. It's fine. Why not add 1 minute delay? What the fuck does that do for the bitrate? What are you talking about? Yeah, I know the mic was muted. Y'all are crazy.
He also said that he would not tell the media if he was going to do that. Do you think that we'll end up seeing American military on the ground in Iran, including special operations forces?
It's still busted.
Well, first of all, I would never take that option off the table. And that's always been my recommendation from the Trump administration to the Biden administration. Don't take that option off the table. You never know what's going to happen, and you want to have that flexibility. With regard to that, I've commented before that I think, some type of large-scale operation into the internal part of Iran, going after a nuclear site to secure enrichment material, would be very complicated, very risky, and would be a very difficult mission. Now, something short of that, where you're trying to seize Karg Island as a leverage point against the Iranians, more doable. It would require more Marines than we have now, or a broader set of service members. But I would never take that option off the table. And you mentioned special operations forces. Look, we use them for various means. It could be a type of raid, or it could be to train militia inside the country. So again, I think that is a tool that every president should retain.
Do you think that's what the administration is doing with these more warships and Marines heading to the area? What does that signal to you?
I would certainly tee up options for the president. I think the job of the Secretary of Defense, of the Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, is to give the president options, and the more the better, the more room he can have to make a decision with regard to which way.
Here's an option he should be giving the president. Don't do this, okay? If I'm the Joint Chief of Staff, I'm saying to the president, Mr. President, we're fucked. It's FUBAR. It's not going well. They're dug in. They've literally very clearly designed their entire manufacturing base to withstand endless aerial bombing campaigns. It's done. It's not happening. It's not working. We need to fucking pull out. We need to find a solution, and we need to deal with them as though they are a fucking sovereign state. That's it. Saudi Arabia getting directly involved? The fuck are they going to do? Scoop. Saudi Arabia gives U.S. expanded access to bases and airspace for war in Iran. UAE Foreign Minister told Marco Rubio Abu Dhabi is ready for a war to last 9 months. Okay, so they just want Iran to nuke their refineries. That's what it is. Attitude has shifted towards supporting the U.S. war as a way to punish Iran for strikes thread. A A shift in the attitudes is underway as anger in Riyadh and Abu Dhabi grows over the Iran strikes. The U.S. is putting pressure on Saudi Arabia to join in on offensive strikes. Riyadh has given U.S. expanded access to airspace and bases. Okay, first of all, Qatar is fucked once again because this is just the UAE and Saudi Arabia's machinations. And Qatar is the one that's like probably going to get punished in the process because they just have to kind of go along with the GCC. Also, how does this expand the theater of conflict? Saudi Arabia is almost pulling at Abraham Accords here, where like they've already all but effectively under the table normalized relations with Israel, but then the Abraham Accords makes it like official. This revelation is simply Saudi Arabia openly saying what we already know was happening. We already know that this was happening. Of course, that's the reason why Iran has been striking the Saudi bases, the American bases in Saudi Arabia. So it's not necessarily a shift in the landscape, in the field of battle. Iran has already been peppering American Stratotankers on Saudi bases. The F-35 that fell, or was, it wasn't officially downed, but like had a real complication, seemingly crash landed or emergency landed somewhere on Saudi soil. The Saudis have already been giving everything to the Americans. So what difference does this fucking make? Are you drinking fluids and liquids now? Yes, I'm liquid. I'm liquid snake the way I'm out here. I don't understand what kind of like tangible difference this might make. Is this Saudi Arabia just being like, all right, whatever, fuck it. Yeah, we've been helping and now we're openly helping. In the U.S. Department of War, held a call with Saudi Arabian Defense Minister Khalid bin Salman, who is the brother and top advisor to Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. Iran's attacks on U.S. bases in the Gulf were heating up, and the U.S. needed expanded access and overflight permissions. Saudi Arabia agreed to open King Fahd Air Base in Taif in western Saudi Arabia to the Americans. Multiple U.S. and Western officials familiar with the matter told Middle East Eye. Okay, more targets, I guess. The base is important because it's farther from Iranian Shahed drones than Prince Sultan Air Base, which has come under repeated Iranian attacks. Taif is also close to Jeddah, the Red Sea port that has become a critical logistics hub since Iran effectively took control over the Strait of Hormuz. Saudi foreign minister's tough words on Iran in contrast with Oman. A divide is emerging in the Gulf over how to handle the war and U.S. pressure to contribute. Yeah, Oman came out and said this war only benefits Israel. And not only are they the greatest chillers of all time, but they just have a very sober assessment of the situation where they're like, this is only beneficial to Israel. It doesn't benefit the Gulf at all. Israel doesn't give a shit if the Gulf is pummeled. Clearly Israel doesn't care if the Gulf is pummeled. Clearly it doesn't, they want to destabilize Iran, and God knows what that would look like if they were able to successfully destabilize this country with 93 million people in our neighborhood, by the way. So ultimately, if Israel were to achieve its ultimate objectives here, this would be terrifying. This would be a terrifying prospect for the Gulf. And we need to be honest about it. And yet now the Gulf guys are saying, the two major Gulf countries are now saying, you know what, fuck it. Like, you can use additional military bases on our soil. Iran's pummeling us anyway. You might as well take it. Saudi Arabia and UAE were neutral before this war, but as they have been attacked, first of all, you can't be neutral with American military bases, okay? That's not how this works. Saudi Arabia and UAE were neutral before this war, and also UAE was never neutral. That's incredibly stupid to say. The UAE was never neutral regardless. I wonder what this will do to the domestic instability that might happen as a consequence of like Saudi Arabia and the UAE openly leaning into America and Israel. Because there's also this domestic component. I wonder if like the population is already pissed off at Iran or sufficiently angry at Iran for, the bombing campaigns that have taken place and these that have been withdrawn as a direct consequence of the steady bombing campaigns, that they are fine with this American and Israeli involvement, like normalizing, or if they might get frustrated at their government. Yeah, the neutrality is bullshit. It was always bullshit. It's total nonsense to claim that they were neutral. They have American military bases. You can't be neutral when you have American military bases. Anyway, but as they've been attacked, they've come to the realization that they cannot live with this hardline Iranian regime next door, which can, at a moment's notice, extort the region by closing the Strait of Hormuz. Saudi foreign minister's tough words. Ibrahim Jalal summed up. Ibrahim Jalal, Carnegie, Middle Eastern Institute, summed up the Gulf dilemma. Gulf states don't want to be seen as signing on to an Israeli-partnered war, but Iranian attacks have crossed every red line. Aziz Al-Ghashan says Saudi Arabia and other states could be looking at lethal defensive measures as they seek to reestablish deterrence against Iran and set precedent. Take from a Saudi citizen. Dude, the Gulf citizens hate Iran more than Israel. Also, the monarchs depend on the U.S. to stay in power. No, I know the monarchs depend on the monarchs depend on the United States to stay in power. But the real question is, will the citizens themselves get frustrated with like a direct, with their direct involvement with Israel, the Israeli state, Israel? I can't even talk. Aziz Al-Ghashan told me that Saudi Arabia and other states could be looking at lethal defensive measures as they seek to reestablish deterrence against Iran and set precedent. For me, the precedent could be made in the Strait of Hormuz. What capabilities do you have? And no, I don't think they hate Iran more than they hate Israel. I think they hate Israel a lot more than they hate anything else, but not the royals. The royals don't give a fuck. They love Israel. They don't give a shit. I'm talking about the actual citizens. Not that it matters. Will they actually turn around and do anything about Israel? No, probably not. Will they turn around and revolt? Probably not. But these kinds of statements make no sense to me. As I've said before, Iran is already fighting America. So from a military campaign standpoint, if you're already fighting America, drawing up NATO forces is not actually done to achieve a strategic military goal. It's actually a diplomatic goal. Because Iran wants to maintain decent relations. It's a sovereign country. It understands that it needs to maintain decent relations with other countries. And through its command over the Strait of Hormuz, what Iran is trying to establish is bilateral treaties and negotiate with like European partners directly, and maybe even forcibly decouple European partners from America because they all have their own capital owners that have their own profit-centered interests. And therefore, if they believe that Iran is not going anywhere, then they would rather deal with Iran and never allow the Strait of Hormuz and the travel through the Strait of Hormuz to be impeded ever again. So it's not a strategic military goal for America to try to get all of the forces and to create a coalition of the willing, right? It's not. Because if Iran is already fighting America, it's already fighting NATO. Additional like French naval assets are not going to change that dynamic at all from a military perspective. But additional French pressure to show that Iran is against the entirety of the Western world, for example, with no allies on their side. You know, all the regional actors are against Iran. Iran is a bad country. No one wants to deal with Iran. Like, that is bad look for Iran. It actually takes away from their goals here. But like a hawkish attitude, scared me. A hawkish attitude from the Gulf states doesn't change the military might of the forces that you're drawing from. Not even a little bit. A hawkish attitude even from France or Italy or England would not necessarily change the military strategy here for Iran at all. It would change the diplomatic strategy, right? Because Iran obviously is here to stay or wants to remain, and a part of that means that they're going to have to deal with these countries down the line. If Iran can split the U.S. from the world and frame it as a disruptor, allowing oil for everyone else is a massive problem for the U.S., yeah, obviously they're not going to let that happen. America's never going to want that to happen, which is why they should back away from this instead of escalating further and further. But it doesn't seem like America has the capability of standing down. They just don't have that. They don't have that that power. Iran's response to the UAE after this came out was the IRGC issued an evacuation warning for Ras Al Khaimah in the north of the United Arab Emirates, telling residents to immediately evacuate the city, stating that the area will be targeted in the near future due to its use in strikes against Iran. For them, it's just like additional targeting, right? For them, it's another base, another area to blow up. What is this? The Wall Street Journal started getting the memo on why Iran is the regional hegemon as long as it controls the Hormuz weapon. But now they seem to have seized on the A-10 Warthog as a magic weapon that will somehow neutralize the Hormuz weapon. Okay. I'm getting cut a little bit. The A-10 Warthog is going to change the dynamic of this conflict. Is such a boomer ass fucking take, dude. This is BoomerCon. This is the most boomer shit of all time. Warthog. Am I saying it right? I always say it weird. I know. Warthog. Oh, dude, wait till the A-10s come in, dude. A-10 is such an angry being. Warthog. 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 Oh, the A-10 Warthog. It's so angry. Oh, you must feed it. You must feed it. It goes brrr. It's like, dude, have you ever considered that American engineers were so crazy where they basically decided to put a Gatling gun that shoots artillery and air to surface missiles on a fucking plane, dude? It's just like machine guns. They go brrr. It's like fucking eating. It's the same principle behind the CRAM, like losing your mind at the CRAM, and you're like, it's the best. Oh, it's so sick. Yeah, taking back control of the strait assumed New Thursday as Iran began laying plans that allow select ships through, with Tehran's parliament considering a law to charge tolls. It raised the prospect that Iran could leverage its positions to make deals with nations that need oil, gas, and other commodities produced in the Persian Gulf region. In practice, this creates a form of coerced interdependence. States that seek access to Gulf energy may find themselves needing to accommodate Iran, whether directly or indirectly, said Danny Citrinowicz, a national security fellow at the Atlantic Council, a Washington think tank. Even when the fight on X, there's real doubt that this dynamic will fundamentally change. The extent of which Iran has seeded naval mines in the Strait couldn't be determined, because they haven't. I told you this already, and I will keep repeating it over and over again. You'll know when they fucking mine it. If Iran doesn't say they're mining the Strait of Hormuz, they're not mining the Strait of Hormuz. Why the fuck would they mine it? They literally have complete dominance over the Strait of Hormuz. Mining the Strait of Hormuz is a last effort. They don't need to mine the Strait of Hormuz because they still have dominance over the Strait of Hormuz. And plus, when they don't mine it, they can actually collect the toll. They can use access to the Strait of Hormuz as an opportunity to deal with European allies directly, for example, or Asian allies directly. Not allies, but, other sovereign countries. The extent to which Iran has seeded naval mines in the Strait couldn't be determined. Only 24 miles at its narrowest point, the Strait of Hormuz is such a confined space that cruise missiles can be fired from hundreds of miles away and still hit ships moving through it. Yeah, no shit. You were in the New York Times crossword puzzle today? Yeah, I heard that. Here, we'll take a brief aside here. And I will get my what do you call it? My brain is frying. Hold on. Why you look so skinny right now? You good, Mud? Bro, the one time I wear like a baggy fucking shirt and you guys think I'm like perishing in real life. That's so funny. Yeah, apparently I was in the I was in the New York Times crossword puzzle for March 20th, 2026. And I was an answer for it. Political commentator Piker. Okay? And what's funny about this is it's over. Hasan superiority. Okay? I have established aerial dominance over Mehdi and also Minhaj. It's clear. It's clear that I have been able to effectively win the war of attrition against Hasan's Mehdi and Minhaj. Dominance over Northern Lion. Yeah, PR year again. This is a funny tweet I saw as well, yes. Third Way has no choice with the boycott New York Times games. No more Wordle until a sufficiently moderate version of the game can be developed. Yeah, there's also Hasan Piker came to our party and says he got frame mocked by real celebrities. So Vanity Fair did the natural thing and called him up to talk about it. Boomers are Googling you now. Asmongold demands a solution to deal with migrants in America and offers help ICE brutalize families. These parasite migrants have an infection. What the fuck? You Mog Northern Lion. The crossword must have been way more than 20K. Yeah, it's 40K. On your live stream, you said that you were more nervous than you've ever been in your life. You specifically shared that you felt like a chud-ass loser. Can you explain what a chud-ass loser is? Piker. Chud originally comes from a movie from the 90s, but it's taken on a new life. Initially, some of my friends over at Chapa Chapa started using it to describe Republicans. Now Zoomers have taken it. When they say chud, they just mean loser with extra seasoning. A guy who doesn't work out, doesn't shower, doesn't have any ambition, doesn't go outside. And that's how I felt in the crowd of Hollywood aristocrats. Yeah, I'm going to tweet this thing. Hold on. What is this? I'm not going to say what I tweeted because I don't want Twitch to ban me, but I just quote retweeted Asmongold and said, I've been banned for much less than this, you know? Chud, cannibalistic humanoid underground dwellers. Yeah, that's what chud is, yeah. You don't remember? The only real bigotry is bigotry against Israel. Silly? I know. Anyway, well, let's get back to the ultimate bigotry, which is not only bigotry against Israel, but also bigotry against America as well. Israeli bigotry. Cuban President Diaz-Canel thanks Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum for standing with the country amid U.S. pressure. Sheinbaum has stalled oil shipments, but yesterday suggested they may be sent. Look at that. This is what I missed, by the way. I was supposed to be here, but instead, my chud-ass, loser ass is sitting somewhere in an undisclosed location in Havana, live broadcasting and monitoring the motherfucking situation. March can attest to this. I was monitoring the goddamn situation on my phone. Pretty spectacular style. He said I was monitoring it too much. I was constantly giving him updates in real time. And Israeli Reserve is saying serving in an Iron Dome battalion has been arrested and charged for spying on behalf of Iran in exchange for money, the Shin Bet and police say. I think this is cope. You want to know why? I mean, I'm sure Iran has like espionage capabilities, right? They can just pay someone to deliver information about the Iron Dome. But I think it's cope. I think this is a way to try and hide the much worse reality, which is that they're running low on interceptors. I think that they're running low on interceptors, and that's the reason why they're like, oh, it's because learn how to evade our systems because we have spies amongst us, that kind of thing. Low-key, as someone that follows Mexico, I think Sheinbaum was trying to cover her domestic bases before sending oil. Sheinbaum was restructuring a lot of Mexican institutions. I don't know if that's the case, chatter. I'll just say it like this. I've been privy to some of the conversations and communiques, and I think it was definitely, let's just say it like this. My assessment is that it's outside pressure and fear for sure. Dropside reporting on Iranian infiltration, including what Iranian officials are saying. An Israeli indictment alleges that Iron Dome reservists secretly work for Iranian intelligence, passing along locations of air bases, missile defense systems, and potential recruits for months in exchange for payment. A new dropsite investigation reveals this is not an isolated case, but a part of a growing covert campaign inside of Israel. In a major report, Jeremy Scale and Murtaza Hussein detail Iran's expanding efforts to recruit Israelis to carry out influence and espionage operations from within. Yes, this is well within their capabilities. I've brought this up before. Okay? I have. This is true. Both of these things could be true at the same time. I don't think the reason why Israel's getting pummeled, however, is because they have insiders that have leaked details about how the Iron Dome works to the Iranian government. I think it's more so, it has more to do with the fact that they are running low on interceptors, because we have literally heard people in the aerospace side on the Israeli Defense Forces openly reveal that they're running low on interceptors. And it's not just the semaphore article either. Another commander recently came out and said, we're running low on interceptors. That's part of the reason why we're letting some of these missiles, land. An Iranian man walks under a display featuring a logo of Iran's Ministry of Intelligence in the historic city of Isfahan. This is the photo. According to the indictment, the suspect knowingly maintained contact with Iranian handlers and carried out tasks under their direction. Prosecutors say he transferred sensitive security information to help identify additional individuals for recruitment, pointing to network building inside of Israel. Drop site reports a sharp escalation. Israeli data cited in the investigation increase in suspected and confirmed Iran-linked espionage activity in 2025. Roughly 36 Israelis have been arrested in recent years. Dude, this is what is crazy, because like are these guys, are they anti-Zionist? Like, what happened there? You know what I mean? You know what I mean? People still believe you go around the world when you're just streaming from a basement in Gary, Indiana. This is true. I'm literally streaming from a basement in Gary, Indiana. Law and interceptors are just saving them for when we go to a ground invasion and we need them all. Wait, what? The interceptors for a ground invasion? What the fuck? What are you talking about? Also, wait, hold on. I'm going to mute for a second. Sorry, I was doing a production notes for interviews that are coming up. Apologies.
Which way to go, depending on either a policy choice or in reaction to what the Iranians are doing or threatening. And so again, I would keep that knowledge.
Hold on. CIA's after me. CIA's after me. What the heliante? Oh my God. Okay, it's back. We're
Brains out of the Pacific, and they're still en route, right? They were recently spotted off of Singapore. So it's going to take another week or so for them to get to the region. So you want to make sure you have those tools in place so that if you need to use them, want to use them, they're available.
Secretary Mark Esper, we appreciate your time today. Thank you.
Thanks, Brianna.
And CNN is learning that thousands more U.S. Marines and sailors are heading toward the Middle East just one day after President Trump downplayed deployment reports, saying, quote, "I'm not putting troops anywhere," though he did say that if he were to, he would not share that with the public. The deployment also happening just hours after the president shared on his Truth Social account that the fight to stop a nuclear-powered Iran has been militarily won. CNN senior national security reporter Zach Cohen has our new reporting. And Zach, on that question of the nuclear capability of Iran being militarily won, isn't there enriched uranium believed to be stored hundreds of feet underground, buried under sand?
Yeah, Boris, that is certainly the understanding of the U.S. intelligence community, and it's a problem we know the Trump administration has been grappling with and weighing the possibility of using U.S. Special Forces potentially to try to essentially go in there and extract or destroy the uranium.
Oh my God, when you got Scott Bessent, writing fucking long ass, oh my God, it is so cooked. Scott Bessent posting insane style cope, I suspect. That is wild, brother. That is crazy. Also, U.S. officials said he doesn't think Trump's post signals an imminent end to the war. He just said we are getting close. In the meantime, the U.S. military is striking hard and continuously. It'll be a couple of weeks, the official said. Bro's writing, look, once you hit the second or third paragraph, it's over. Okay, it's over. Can you please inform us more about the crisis in Cuba with the relevant historical context? Yeah, I did. I spent the first hour doing that, and you missed it. But you can rewind if you subscribe to the Piker Broadcasting Service. If you subscribe to the Piker Broadcasting Service, which is the only and most effective, but only way to support the Piker Broadcasting Service, PBS, sponsored by you, the people, for you, the people, PBS, for tomorrow's news today. You can rewind. There's a rewind function. Speaking of writing, the White House just copy-pasted this shit. This is wild. The White House plagiarized his reason for launching a war on Iran from FDD, a cutout of Israeli intelligence. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. They did Foundation for Defending Dick. FDD is literally an Israeli espionage arm. It is an American think tank that masquerades as an American think tank, but is straight up an Israeli intelligence asset, is an Israeli intelligence cutout. Okay? That is unbelievable. That is unfucking believable that they just like copied and pasted it. Oh my God. I mean, actually, is it unbelievable? It's the most believable. God, this entire administration is on fucking autopilot, dude. You stole tomorrow's news today from Alex Jones. Imagine if Alex Jones sued you. Wait, what? Alex Jones says tomorrow's news today? That's crazy. No, not you. I was talking to Chad.
that is believed to be deep underground at one of those facilities that was hit last year. But again, to the president's comments, getting additional troops to the region, we're learning that thousands more Marines are going to be deployed to the Middle East here in the near term, having their deployments accelerated. Now, one Marine Expeditionary Unit was already on the way to the Middle East. These are units that are really the Swiss Army knife of military capability. They're made up of about 2,200 sailors and Marines, but we're learning now that they're going to send potentially a second Marine Expeditionary Unit to the Middle East. This unit was intended initially to go and deploy to the Indo-Pacific region, but their timeline has now been moved up, and they're going to be traveling to the Middle East, according to two sources familiar with the plans. And so it does raise questions about what is the Trump administration's timeline for bringing an end to this conflict, and what objectives do they need to accomplish before they can do so.
To that point, you have this announcement of a deployment, and then also what is potentially going to be a $200 billion request for supplemental funding from Congress.
Insanity. They're pooping on us. They're dabbing on us. I need you to remember this number. Next time some fucking asshole from DC tells you we can't have health care, okay? Next time some douchebag politician says we can't have fucking health care, remember that. 200 million, 200, not million, sorry, billion, $200 billion money mogging you. I mean, it is money mogging. It's money mogging all of us, okay? It's money mogging all of us in the sense that if you were like, oh, can I have some funds, please, for the fucking potholes down the street? They're like, no, fuck you. If you're like, can I have some money for healthcare? They're like, no, fuck you, fuck yourself, kill yourself, die right now. You're fucking broke. Die, broke boy, die. If you're like, hey, can we I don't know, fund education initiatives in this country so that we can have a more competent, competitive labor force in the international marketplace? Fuck you. Unbelievable.
How does the administration square that with what Trump has been saying about this coming to a close relatively quickly?
Yeah, Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth was asked about that additional request for $200 billion for the Pentagon yesterday, and he said, quote, "It takes money to kill bad guys," and that was sort of his explanation for why the Pentagon is seeking more funding when they've already spent billions of dollars over the last some weeks of this conflict. We know that the first week of the military operations against Iran cost
Is extra cool that he, the people that are in charge of this entire thing are baboons too. They just straight up are stupid. Yeah, war is over, but we just need another 200 billion, just to extra end it, War's already over, but we just need another 200 billion and then it's totally over. It's going to be super done,
roughly $11 billion, and estimates for the totality of the war so far are hovering around $20 billion. So some of this $200 billion request, as we understand it, would go towards addressing the expenditures that have...
As a planner for the Marine Corps, the size of the MAGTF being sent out there is a landing party-sized force to set up an expeditionary base to house a brigade, which would set up an airstrip and then a full-size invasion force. CARG already has an airstrip. The problem is, are those numbers enough to take over CARG Island? And even if they were to take over CARG Island, are they large enough to be able to hold it? You have to remember, they don't have any backup. Because, you can't just take CARG Island. You have to take the surrounding coastline, okay? You can't just take over CARG Island. You have to take the surrounding coastline. They've already also talked too much about CARG Island. I know how these guys operate at this point. I don't think they're going to do to CARG Island. They're going to go somewhere else. I think they love doing this idiotic bait and switch shit. So I suspect that they're not deploying to CARG Island anyway. That would be incredible if they were literally saying for weeks on end, we're going to take over CARG Island, we're going to take over CARG Island, and then they just didn't even do that. I mean, or they ended up actually trying to do that. Sorry. There's a couple different islands. I suspect that they're going to try to take over one of them. I don't know if any of them actually have CARG does have a landing strip on it. I think they're taking Beirut. That would be crazy. What the fuck? They were like, just kidding. We just want more Israel. We just want to directly allow Israel to grow, to continue his Greater Israel project.
Been spent so far during the conflict, but there's also speculation and concern that the get funding for other priorities as part of this additional request. That's something that is going to raise a lot of eyebrows on Capitol Hill as lawmakers on both sides of the aisle are starting to really push the administration to come out and explain their reasoning and their objectives for the Iran conflict. And they haven't even asked Congress to vote on this conflict yet. So a lot of questions as to whether or not this will ultimately come to pass. But the Pentagon is seeking additional funding, and we are seeing more Marines sent to the region.
I had a 15-minute on-the-record phone call with President Trump this morning. Here's what you need to know. He said Iran was about 2 weeks away from having a nuclear bomb. He said they were planning to use it. Now, experts have said they were probably a year away. He said
Trump extorts the Gulf for more money. If you want the war to continue, $5 trillion. If you wanted to stop, $2.5 trillion. Omani journalist and international affairs researcher Salam al-Jahouri on BBC Arabic confirms reports of U.S. pressure on Gulf Cooperation Council states to pay up either way. According to leaks, al-Jahouri cites Trump is demanding GCC states pay $5 trillion to sustain the war, or $2.5 trillion as a fee for stopping it, framed as payment for what has been accomplished. I don't believe this. Seems unbelievable. I just don't think this is that seems. I mean, it's Trump, so who knows, right? It's Trump, but also at the same time, that seems even too much for Trump, right? Am I crazy? I feel like that's a bit much. Breaking: Washington Post confirms ground invasion planning underway. Oh my lord. Oh my lord. New U.S. officials say there is planning underway to potentially deploy thousands of troops from the 82nd Airborne Division to Iran, though no final decision has been made. That's crazy. Also, I got a new laptop because the old one was getting bricked because Google Chrome is an insane eater of RAM, and it bricked again. Pizza index? Bro, what are you talking about? We've moved past the Pentagon Pizza Index. We are now at the how many crayon eaters are being deployed index. It's a totally new reality.
that we could leave Iran right now.
Wait, what the fuck? That's crazy. Too much cum on the fap top? God damn it. 1 hour ago, he said we don't want a ceasefire. He's just saying shit at this point. Yeah, that's just how he does it, man. That's the goat talking. All right, I had to turn off the fucking stupid ass. I had to, hold on. What is this? All right, I have to reopen all my bookmarks. Sorry, guys. I'm cooked. How do I do that? The 82nd just became Unit 8200. Your glasses are sick as fuck. Thank you. Looking at the Helium browser now. I love my nerd siblings in this chat. Shut up, bitch.
I had a
I'm going to keep using Chrome, even though it eats RAM. Crazy style. It's so crazy how much RAM it eats. Is a real RAM eater. Boy right now, what's he up to? Oh, stacks of solar panels and 30 tons of humanitarian aid heading for Cuba. My goat. He's on the water. Nah, he's not here yet. I don't even know if we're going to actually see him here, ironically enough, because they had a delay in their travel plans. Why do you hate your privacy and love Google? Just easy. You won't? Australia is a long sail? No, he's not. That's really funny. Yeah, he's sailing from Australia. No, I didn't take a boat. Hold on. We're letting Iran sell oil. Cool. Yeah, of course we are. We can't stop them. What do you mean? We need them to make up for the loss. We need them to we need them to now stabilize the oil markets or the price of fucking crude, because we decided to blow them up and it frustrated them to no end, and it caused them to literally take the unthinkable, the ultimate action and close the Strait of Hormuz for everybody but themselves, obviously. And yes, when that happened, someone needed to fucking keep sending tankers through the goddamn strait. All right, let's hear what he had to say.
15-minute on-the-record phone call with President Trump this morning. Here's what you need to know. He said Iran was about 2 weeks away from having a nuclear bomb. He said they were planning to use it. Now, experts have said they were probably a year away. He said, we could leave Iran right now. We're ready to. But he said, given where things are, they would likely, the current regime, rebuild. It would take them 10 years, but that's not good enough. That's why we're still there. As it relates to Europe, our European allies and NATO, the president had nothing good to say. He said it was always a one-way street with NATO. They've proven themselves to be a paper tiger. Without the United States, they're useless. He said Putin isn't afraid of them. No one should be. It would have been great if they would have shown their support. They've shown nothing. And he's not surprised, though. He said he doesn't need them. He's never had anything good to say about NATO. Now he has even less. As it relates to Ukraine, I asked about Ukraine giving us support with the war in Iran. He said they've done nothing. Anything Zelensky is saying is just for PR and publicity purposes. He doesn't see anything ending soon when it comes to the conflict between Russia and Ukraine. And I would say he even expressed more trust in Putin than he does Zelensky. I asked him.
There's a laser pointer? What the fuck? Yeah, you already pointed it at me. What the fuck is a laser pointer supposed to do? Why is there a laser pointer on it? All right. It's crazy that Zelensky, it's crazy that Zelensky is just literally eating unlimited shit every day. He's like, this shit is delicious, Mr. President. And then he's like, and then the president's like, yeah, you keep eating that shit. You're going to eat more shit even.
About the upcoming Texas primary. He said, obviously, Cornyn wants his endorsement. He hasn't made a decision yet. He said all Republicans want his endorsement. He has endorsed over 400 Republicans, and he said all of his people win. We know that's not the case, but those are the president's words. He said they're not afraid to run against James Tallarico. They wanted to run against Crockett, but he thinks they're going to wipe out Tallarico. He called him a whack job. As it relates to Cuba and what we could do there, he said, wait and see, but there will be better days ahead for Cubans.
Yeah, I don't believe that. I somehow don't believe that at all, that there are better days ahead for Cubans. Because when Donald Trump says it's time to negotiate, that means he's going to fuck shit up even further. Okay? It's kind of how Big Dog operates, as we've seen so far. Big Dog claims things are going to get better. Things only get worse. Ominous threat. Yeah, when America says help is coming, just know it's time to run, okay? Well, you can't really run anywhere. It's an island, but
I
you know
also
what I
gave
mean.
the president the opportunity to sort of take back or revise his comments about dyslexia when going after California Governor Gavin Newsom, saying people with dyslexia are fine. He doesn't have a problem with learning disabilities, but they shouldn't be president of the United States. He didn't take any of that back. I asked him about the ball.
That's crazy. Donald Trump saying that is so funny because, like, it's obvious that you know, Donald Trump is not exactly mentally sound.
Which, no surprise, he said is ahead of schedule and under budget. But he said because it's going to be drone-proof and bulletproof, expect that we're going to have everything there in the future in the inaugurations. We covered a lot more. For now, those are the highlights I thought you should know.
Fantastic. Cuba is refusing a request by U.S. Embassy in Havana to import diesel fuel for its generators, calling the ask shameless. That's funny. Dude, oh my God. Breaking news. Breaking news. The U.S. has temporarily lifted sanctions on oil from Iran for 30 days. Dude, are you fucking... Dude. Step 1, bomb Iran. Step 2, Iran fights back spectacularly, showing the rest of the world that maybe America's a paper tiger. These guys have wanted sanctions relief for fucking decades. And now they finally have it. And what it took was for them to literally just blow up every American asset in the region. The lesson here is, yeah, you just got to fight back against America. If you want sanctions relief, you can't expect to get it through diplomacy. You have to make... I mean, this was going to happen already. So it's just official. Will you be speaking with Jeremy Corbyn whilst you're both in Cuba? Yes. I have an interview with him tomorrow. We'll take the USS Boxer 30 days to get in theater with another MEU. Please harvest Max. I don't understand the flotilla aspect of the aid mission. If you were in Cali yesterday, you couldn't have just been in a fleet of boats. You could have been in a fleet of boats. Dude, it's not just boats, man. If you looked at the website, it was boats, it was planes. Like, it's so funny. My lessons from grade school are as valid in geopolitics as they were on the playground. Hit the bully and they'll eventually fuck off. I mean, yeah. Can US and Israel stop winning now? Iran fires towards Dimona. Channel 12, Homefront Command is considering extending the warning time for launches from Lebanon. OFAC issues a general license authorizing the delivery and sale of crude oil and petroleum products of Iranian origin loaded on vessels. It is wait, why? Here, what's going on? Okay. It's fucking unbelievable, dude. Why does this microphone sound better than the one you're at home? I don't even start, dude. It took hours for us to basically put this thing together. Yeah, I'm glad that it sounds good, but it took a long ass time. And we accidentally arrived at this.